What's going on, guys? We are out here on the Waccamaw River in Socastee, South Carolina right now. We just launched in at Peachtree Landing, and we are gonna go try to hit some creeks and do a little bit of bass fishing. Have some drinks, enjoy life on the river. This is the second time we've taken our kayaks out. The first time we took our kayaks out was in Pawleys Island. So, new kayaks, new adventure. Like I said in the Connect Scale video and review that I did, we got big things working on for the page here and for the channel, so hopefully we can bring some better content with our kayaking adventures. So hang tight and we'll check in with you here in a minute, right after this. That way. I'm gonna hang a right up here. Just make sure you hug the shoreline because the boat traffic is nasty. So as I was saying, the boat traffic is pretty gnarly right now. You know, it's about 92 degrees right now. 2:41 in the afternoon. Probably the hottest part of the day. Probably feels like 105. And we're out here on this black water paddling. But you know what? We're excited to have the kayaks. And we look forward to getting out here and doing this type of stuff. You know, the boat traffic is just a little bit ridiculous today because everybody's out on the water enjoying it. It seemed to have slowed down a little bit. Some of the boats have passed. So we're gonna actually try to cross the river here now while it's safe and try to find this little creek that we've been hunting out.
We're going across?
Yeah. Gotta cross the river, babe, to get to the creek. So we're still looking for this creek. We've only been on the water for about 20 minutes now, so we're just paddling the shoreline, stay out of the boat's way. and looking for this creek. It's supposed to be right over here somewhere, and I heard it was a nice paddle that the boats can't get into, so it's gonna be nice and relaxing. It's gonna be shady back in there, and it's gonna allow us to do a little bit of fishing. So I am seeing some nice sandy beaches along the water here too, that would make for a great day to go ahead and beach, do a little bit of swimming. Woo! When the waves come through, man, it's pretty gnarly, I'll tell you that. But we're also beginners, so we'll get used to it. Last weekend, we paddled Pawleys Island. We made the mistake of not really paying attention to the tide. I gotta check on Sherry, make sure she's doing all right back there. Next time we gotta pay attention to the tide. So we went out there and we caught the tail end of outgoing tide, which was great because the paddling was pretty easy getting in. We paddled about an hour and a half in, and it took us 2 to 3 hours to get out. So that was an experience. That was a first timer type thing. And now we know when we fish in the salt water, even here on the Waccamaw, you have to pay attention to the tide because the Waccamaw River connects to the intracoastal, which the intracoastal is tidal as well, so which makes the Waccamaw tidal. So we have to pay attention to the tides, try to pay attention to what we're doing, and time everything just right, so that we don't have to struggle to get back out like we did last week, Pawleys Island. It was pretty brutal. Sherry was about to give up at the end. I told her I'd tow her back, but she refused. She muscled through. She did good. We're coming up on that creek right now, I believe. So I didn't think boats would come back in this creek here, but I guess anything's possible, right? I think when we do a majority of our kayaking, we'll probably do a majority of our kayaking in the Conway area. As far as the Socastee area goes, there's just too much boat traffic out here for my liking. I want to come and get away from this stuff and get where the boats can't be, or the boats can't get, and just enjoy life. So it is what it is, though. So before we got back in this creek, we got in the creek and we took a second to go ahead and put some sunscreen on. I gotta put my hoo-rag back on because the sweat is dripping into my eyeballs. If you haven't ever checked out hoo-rag, they've done some big things for me in the past. You know, the group that I talk about all the time, Student Angler League Tournament Trails, the SALT group there, I wear the hat from time to time. I actually hooked Mr. Poston up with hoo-rag, and they sent him a bunch of hoo-rags for that Student Angler League. So, you know, hats off to them for that. And 2 years running, when I was part of the Grand Strand Saltwater Anglers Association, they sent me 250 hoo-rags for our annual flounder tournament out of Murrells Inlet. So big hats off to them guys, sending me stuff to wear all the time for free. I just reached out to them and they got back to me. Real good company. I actually plan on using them in the future, and that was part of my promise and part of my deal, was to use them in the future and maybe make some 843 brand hoo-rags. These things come in great when it's hot out like it is today, so awesome to have. But anyways, my camera ended up shutting off on the entrance to the creek, but we pulled over to put some more sunscreen on, cool the camera down, and get back to filming. So it's going to be brutal. I do have my phone in a life-proof case now. I did buy a life-proof case, so when I'm out here on the water filming like this, we do want to get some what I like to call faux pros. I saw these, Cruising Canada had done a review on the camera called GMAC. That's Jeemak. And they come with extra batteries, battery chargers, and that's something that we're going to need for when we're out here on the water, extra batteries. Because right now I don't have a power bank or anything like that. I film most of my footage on my S9 Plus, and I can get 4 to 6 hours of good footage to be able to edit and clip and cut and put a 1 hour or 30-minute video together. So we're gonna look for a good spot over here to go ahead and anchor up and do a little bit of fishing. And these big trees over here look like a good spot. So I think I'm gonna throw a line right here around these trees and see if I can't get something going. So I'm just throwing a spinnerbait right now around this tree. See if we can't hook up with some bass. That's what we're gonna go after today. I do have some worms if I want to try to get on some brim or some blue cats.
Are you anchored?
Yeah. Anchored right in the sun. I want to move up a little bit.
I'm not trying to run into you, I promise.
You're fine, babes. I need to get one of those zigzag clips if I'm not going to get an anchor. I'd like to have an anchor trolley, but I need to get one of those zigzag clips so I can hook this anchor that I have to it. I'm going to move up into the sun a little, the shade a little. Well, I took a couple casts around that tree, so what we can do is we can actually just move up and see if we can find a better shady spot. How's that sound? Good? All right, let's do it.
Were you talking to me?
Yeah? I'm talking to the viewers. Right across from those lily pads right there, we'll anchor up and I'll cast on them. I'm really not even paddling though, and we're moving. So I wonder if that's the current taking us back. That's kind of cool. Is it the cloud? The cloud blocking out the sun?
Yeah.
But that breeze feels amazing.
Problem is, the current's so easy going that you can't really stop.
No.
Like, how can come stop right here? Without running into those trees.
I'm gonna have to get you an anchor too. Sure.
That'll work on it.
What's that?
What?
And the trees over there.
Squirrel.
False alarm. Just a squirrel. I'm gonna drop the anchor right now.
I can't. I'm just gonna keep floating.
So we're anchored up. I'm gonna go ahead and do a little bit of casting right here on these lily pads.
Are they lily pads?
Yeah, something like that. They look like lily pads.
They're long though, and they're not round like normal lily pads.
So if we don't get anything happening with the spinnerbait, I do have a Yum Tequila Sunrise worm, ribbon tail worm, topwater frog. I have a setup for brim fishing as well. Got one. Big bowfin. Yep. Oh, is it a bowfin or a catfish? Bowfin. Ha ha! All right, he's gone. Yeah, he broke off. That's okay. I touched him. I felt him. I would have liked to use the connect scale on him though. You know what I mean? The bowfin will eat spinnerbaits. So, yeah. That was awesome. I was expecting bass, not bowfin. But I guess, you know, bowfin, they're pretty aggressive species, so they'll eat anything. All right, let me go ahead and rig up another spinnerbait and see what I can't get going. Yeah, well, I don't have a net. So, you know, first catch on the kayak, on the Waccamaw, was a bowfin. I got it on camera, so it still counts. I didn't get it in the boat. It took off with my spinnerbait. That's okay. There'll be plenty of more. I just would have liked to weight it with my new connect scale I got. Which, by the way, the connect scale, it hit a little bit of water that was just rolling around in the bottom of the kayak, and it's already got water in it. So I'm not too happy about that. I'm going to connect with connect scale and see what I can't do about getting a new one. It does say water resistant, so I don't understand why. And in my initial start of the review, I did say that that battery door doesn't look too watertight, so they're looking for constructive criticism, and I'll be honest with you, I am pretty straightforward and don't beat around the bush when it comes to giving that type of criticism, especially if you're asking for it. I'll tell you what I think. It doesn't necessarily always have to be bad or good, and it doesn't necessarily have to be, you know, disrespectful or anything like that. So, and I'm not going to intend to be that way. All right, turn you guys this way just a little bit. All right, let's see if we can't get on another one. Be nice to catch that same bowfin and get my spinnerbait back. right, so the camera keeps shutting off because it gets too hot. I just caught another bowfin, but it didn't break off. It just came off the hook on that one. So I'm gonna cast a couple more times out here and see if we can't get another one on camera. Sit here for a few minutes. Hopefully it'll still record. The weird part about the bowfin bite is you can't even hardly feel him bite. Ooh, just had a hit. Just had a hit.
Good.
Just had a hit. Here, fishy. I want to catch the one.
The first one?
Yeah, the first one, so I can get my spinnerbait back. I'm going to give it one more cast in this spot, and then we're going to move on. All right, so camera shut off again because it got too hot. So I put it in the cooler to cool it down. And as I did that, if you look behind me, there's a big nasty black cloud building. We're starting to hear some thunder. We just stopped. I looked at the radar on my phone and there's lightning as well. So we're gonna go ahead and head back to the boat landing, and we're gonna do some fishing around the boat landing and see if we can't get something going. But I do want to continue to explore this creek because it is pretty awesome. There's just a roll of thunder right there. So this creek is pretty awesome. It's pretty nice paddling back here off of the river. No real boats. We had that one boat come through this afternoon earlier when we first got here, but for the most part, there hasn't been anything else. So I don't know what they were doing. Maybe they knew something I don't. I was told that there's good fishing back in here. I did hook up with those two bowfin. One I did get on camera. He broke the line off and took off with my spinnerbait. The second one just came off the hook. So we do have two fish for the day. I am excited about that, being that yesterday I had intentions on coming out here and doing a whole filming and fishing expedition. This is the first filming and fishing expedition on the kayaks, so I'm pretty excited about that. Sherry is not quite comfortable yet to fish out of the kayak. She does have a rod just in case we did find a good beach somewhere, and she said she would fish there. So here's the thunder boomer. Just as I was saying, there's no other boats that have been back in here. We're paddling back out and we're paddling up on a boat. So I guess this area does see a little bit of boat action. At least they're not flying like they are in the river. All right, yeah, that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna head back to the boat landing. We're gonna fish around the boat landing for a little bit. We're hearing thunder. We're not seeing any lightning, so that's a good sign. But, you know, it's inevitable. Where there is thunder, there is lightning. So we just want to play it safe. We don't want to be on the water, especially when there's no beaches or nothing that we can beach ourselves on to get off the water. Or none that I know of yet, being this is, you know, our first time exploring this area of the Waccamaw. I'm sure in due time we'll be able to find some places to, you know, precarious. I just ran over a tree log. Oh, that could have been gnarly. All right, so we're gonna head back to the boat landing. We're gonna do a little fishing around the boat landing, and I am gonna actually tuck you guys away while we hit the main river, so because I don't want to lose the camera over the side or anything like that. But if any of aquatic vegetation is this? If it's not lily pads, I'm interested in knowing exactly what it is. We're not familiar with all the wildlife and all that jazz, so what is it? Yeah, they have little yellow blooms on them, little yellow flowers, and they're real long. They're like a lily pad, and they're just long leaves. They're not quite as broad and round as a lily pad. So if anybody knows what that is, drop that in the comment section below for us so we actually know. I'm gonna go home and I'm gonna Google it and check it out on maybe the South Carolina Department of Natural Resources website and see what kind of aquatic vegetation this is in the Waccamaw River. So if anybody knows and you want to help me out a little bit, drop it in the comment section below and it would be greatly appreciated. All right, guys, we're coming back out to the main river. I'm going to go ahead and tuck you away, and we will see you once we get crossed the highway. He didn't like me creeping up on him like that. Is it? No, we're not lost. Never. We got Google Maps, baby. There's the landing. That's Peachtree Landing in Socastee, South Carolina. The clouds are getting closer and closer, but I think I'm going to anchor up over here on these lily pads and do a little bit more fishing. That's what we're going to do. Let me go ahead and get anchored up and do a little fishing. All right, let's see if these buggers still like this spinner bait. Sherry just said she saw a fish jump, so let's give it a whirly gig. I'd like to catch a bass, but the bowfin are fun too, so. Bowfin. Man, I can't talk. Just had one jump behind me somewhere. I know, it's real hot. Sherry just said that the water's like bath water. I don't know if you guys can hear her. She's about 100 feet off into the northwest of me.
Yeah, what is it?
Little catfish. It's not very deep right here. I boated my first fish.
Yeah, you did.
Little catfish.
Good job, babe.
He hooked himself through his eyeball though.
Ew.
Little guy. I gotta put him on my Connect scale. My first fish on my Connect scale.
He won't register.
I probably won't register.
No, he probably will.
Alright, cool. We're gonna go ahead and put him on the Connect scale then. He's too little to register. Be free, little guy.
Bruce is trying to stand up. We've heard that these kayaks are good for standing.
Not yet.
He's not.
Maybe on the fifth try.
He's not quite ready for it yet.
I need a handle to pull myself up.
I had to record it because I was thinking that he might fall in and it would have been
They're
fantastic.
pretty stable. I'm excited about how stable these kayaks are.
That would have been fantastic.
Hey y'all!
Hey.
Lieutenant Dan, you got new legs!
Something wrong with that boy.
We are back home. Just got back home. The camera today, I'm not too excited about it. The cell phone was getting too hot. It kept shutting down on me in the middle of, taking little segments to put together on the editor for the video. So I'm not too happy about it, but we did manage I kept taking the phone out, putting it in the cooler, in the LifeProof case, putting it in the cooler, letting it cool down, and I would take it back out and film a little while longer till it got too hot, then it would shut down again. So we're definitely to be able to keep shooting videos in the summertime on the kayaks, gonna have to invest in some adventure cams. Whether we do the GoPro, whether we do whether we do the GoPros or we go with the G-Max, that's a completely different story. I think we'll get a little bit better of a bang for our buck if we go with the G-Max, being that we could buy 4 of them. 2 for my kayak, 2 for Sherry's kayak. For the same price we could buy 1. So, I think that's definitely the route that we might end up going. But we definitely need to do something, for sure. Because it was frustrating, to say the least, to actually film a decent segment without the camera cutting out on me. But anyways, we're back home. It was a good day. A good first full day fishing on the kayak. Like I said, last week we took them out on their maiden voyage after we bought them. And we went to Polly's Island. And I fished a little bit. But once the tide started ripping back in, it was really hard to be able to get back out. So every time we stopped paddling, we would just drift back like 100 feet. So it was really hard to fish out there. Now that I've got the anchor and I anchored up today, it was a lot easier to be able to do some fishing. We weren't drifting around and stuff like that. We caught 2 bowfin. One I did get on camera. He ended up breaking off with my spinnerbait. The second one hooked himself on a spinnerbait. It wasn't on camera because it kept cutting off. And he actually spit the spinnerbait out. So we caught 2 bowfin. The first one was of decent size. He was, I want to say 21 inches, 22 inches long. And then I caught a little catfish. Little guy. I wanted to register something on the Connect scale today because this was the first time I would have the opportunity to use the Connect scale. But, see if you guys can see this here. Like I was saying in my Connect scale review, I was worried about that battery door. The little bit of water that comes up through the scupper holes in the kayaks that was just rolling around in the bottom of the kayak, it got into that battery door, lit up the LCD screen, and it's all fogged up now. I did take the battery off. I took the batteries out so it wouldn't burn up, and I took the battery door off to let it try to dry out. What I'm going to do is, because it still works, I'm going to go ahead and put it in a bag of rice and try to get it to dry out a little bit more. But I'm really not happy that I didn't get to register any of my fish on this Connect scale today because I was really looking forward to doing that. But you can see, I'm bringing it really close to the camera, you can see in this little hole here, if it focuses, that's all circuit board in there. So all the water has to do is come in and drip into that circuit board, and then it's ruined. My thoughts is, I'm a pro staffer. I'm supposed to be talking good about the product, trying to push the product, and trying to market the product to the best of my ability. My thing is I can't market a good product if it's not a good product. Now, to say it's not a good product, that's, going a little above and beyond, because I never really got to use it. Now, I did do this earlier when I was on the camera, because it does pull for 55 pounds, and when I was off camera as well, I pulled. I got up to about 30 pounds, and you can see the keychain, what the keychain did. I mean, the concept, the idea is fantastic. The product, I never got to use it. I mean, it literally came in Wednesday of last week. I never got to use it. Just a little bit of water got in that battery door, and it was all over the place. I mean, the numbers were going, from 12 pounds to, 0.56 ounces. So I'm really not happy with it right now. I am going to voice my opinion, as I did in this, because I feel that as a pro staffer, it is my job to bring you guys quality and truthful reviews. As of right now, I'm not happy with the product, and I'm going to voice my opinion on the Connect Scale site and see if they can make some changes. You know, Ben Arnold and those guys over there at Connect Outdoors and Connect Scale itself are looking forward to bringing some pretty big things to the fishing world, and you can't do it if you don't have a quality product. You know, so the ideas are great, the ideas are fantastic, guys. The product, I'm not happy with. And, you know, whether anybody wants to shoot me for it, let them shoot me for it. I'm not... The $60, I spent $60 on Pro Staff. $60 on Pro Staff, and I bought 3 additional stickers. $69.99, I think it is. If you're not a Pro Staffer. My Mustad one I bought from Walmart for $25. I've had it for 10 years. You know? Connect Scale. I've had it less than a week, and it's already busted up on the first voyage out on a kayak. So, that's my thoughts. Great idea. Great concept. Not happy with the product. Period. So, being that this Connect Scale still works, we are going to go ahead, pop this battery door open a little bit here, and we're going to go ahead and do the old rice trick. Like I was saying, I'm not super excited that I'm having to do this right now, not after spending $60 on it. And like I said, I was going to voice my opinion about that on the Pro Staff page and let them know. I just don't, like I said, I can't get behind a product if it's not a good product. Now, is the concept and the idea good? Yes, the concept, the idea, it's a fantastic concept, fantastic idea. I be honest with you, I was super stoked about coming on, and the first trip this took out in a kayak, and like I said in the review video, I was worried about that battery door. The fact that it filled up with water, being that it's quote unquote water resistant, that's just not me. I don't see how you could make a product for the fishing industry that is not truly resistant to water. So we're going to leave this in the rice for a couple days. I'm going to voice my opinion on the Pro Staff page. Like I said, if they shoot me, they shoot me. No big deal. I'm not going to push a product if it's not a good product. All right. So let's put the Connect Scale behind us. Let me take these sunglasses off. I had to move inside because I wanted to put that Connect Scale in some rice. And it is brutally hot sitting out there on the porch. We have no breeze whatsoever. I think it's hotter on my balcony at my condo than it was sitting on the water at the Waccamaw River. I got Drakey. You can hear him. He sounds like a reindeer running through my house. Don't mind him. He's just click-clacking around, wondering what I'm talking about and wondering who I'm talking to. So, my favorite part of my videos, beer review. Today, we are rocking Frothy Beard out of Charleston, South Carolina. It is 5% alcohol by volume. It is a golden ale, so I'm thinking that the IBUs are probably right around the 20 to 30 mark. It's probably going to have a nice, rich golden color, and we are actually going to pour it into a glass today. I think we did that on Father's Day, too. I normally do like to drink my beer out of a glass, like a nice ice cold frosty glass. It does have a nice rich golden color. Normally I like to drink, if my beer is in a can to begin with, I like to pour it in a glass. If it's in a bottle, I'll just pop the top and drink it out of the bottle. I think beer tastes better out of a glass than it does out of a tin can. Tin? What am I, from the 1940s? Aluminum can? Mr. Frothy Beard, Positive Vibes Golden Ale. Pretty plain Jane on the can. I think I said that last time I reviewed this beer. Not this exact beer, but a different beer. Pretty plain Jane on the can. Not a lot of literature. They don't get into, coming up with this big long story about how they got started or, what they put into the beer as far as ingredients goes. There is nothing by way of IBUs. I can tell you right now that this beer on my first sip is nowhere near the 20s or 30s. I'm thinking that this beer is probably less than 15. It is, like I would have said in my late teens, early 20s, dope-alicious. It is really good. It's a golden ale. Said that already. It does bring positive vibes because I'm feeling pretty good about it. It is more like a Budweiser, more like a maybe Coors Banquet. Coors Banquet. Even though Coors Banquet's color is a little bit darker than this, and this is a little bit lighter, but it's a little stronger than a Budweiser. Cheers. I just got eyeballs from Sherry. She was like, did he really just do that on camera? I just did it on camera. It's good, frothy, bubbly, delicious stuff. So, anyways, put all the negativity behind us. Camera was crapping out. We're going to try to put together whatever we can, salvage the whole trip, the whole video, put it together. We're going to bring it to you guys. And, I hope you enjoyed it because, I'm kind of talking after the fact. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video and everything. And like I said, salvaging what I can. The camera kept cutting out on us and everything else. So a little bit of a technical problem there. I already told you what we're going to do about that. We're going to look forward to, bringing some better filming gear with us out there. Took a big step last week, bought the kayaks, so we got some better fishing gear. I do know already what I like for a rod and reel out of the kayaks. Today, I was just using the little kids, Aaron and Kaylee's little Shakespeare, I like to call them brim busters. That's basically what they are. They're real small, 5'6". They hold 6 to 12 pound test, which, I'll be honest with you, fighting those bow fins on those rods, it was amazing. It was fun. It was really, really fun. I kind of feel like those are the rods that I take with me to go bass fishing because I don't own a wide variety of fishing rods. I own a bunch of throwaways for the saltwater because the saltwater wreaks havoc on fishing rods. So I own a bunch of throwaways for that, and we take those catfishing and stuff. And then the kids' rods, they're little Shakespeare's, cheapos. I probably paid about $25 for them at, a combo at Walmart. My pen, Fierce 2, it's in the Waccamaw somewhere. We know where it's at. We just got to be able to get to it. If I had a snorkel and some flippers, I might be able to go down and get it. It's probably corroded by now, but that was my favorite rod and reel. I had that thing for about 10 years. The reel was making some noises. I did have it serviced a couple times by Captain Crumb out of Crumb's outpost here in Myrtle Beach. He does wonderful stuff with rods and reels. So I had him service it a couple times, and he did tell me that it's working its way out there to needing some new parts. So it's almost like with a Penn Fierce 2, I think you pay $100 for the combo, somewhere around there, like $80 to $120. So do you actually just buy a new reel, or do you just kick it to the side and buy a whole new combo? One of those type of things. We lost it to the river, no big deal. We'll get a new one for the future. Sherry needs a new rod and reel that can handle everything from the Pawleys Island, Myrtle's Inlet to the Waccamaw River. So inshore, river fishing, lake fishing. I need one. So it's going to be a lot of stuff coming this way as far as videos goes. We're going to have a lot of product reviews, with the Connect scale, with fishing rods, with the kayak. I want to do a product review with the kayak. I do tell you one thing. I am very happy that I did not spend $248 a kayak through Walmart and get those Lifetime Tamarack kayaks. I am very impressed with paying the $600 and getting the Ascend 12T kayaks. Those things are incredibly stable. As you can see, or as you saw earlier in the video, I did try to stand up a little bit. And I think I could have stood up, but I got inside my head and I was like, well, shit, how do I get back down? So I do want to install either a rope or something that I can grab the front of the kayak and pull myself up and be able to set myself back down. So there is a bunch of stuff coming by way of videos here shortly, so just stay tuned for that. I'm rambling on now. I'm going to let you guys go. I'm already 8 minutes into this segment, including the other segment about the Connect scale and the phone mishaps. So, Mr. Frothy Beard, Positive Vibes, Golden Ale, 5% alcohol by volume, 12 fluid ounces as standard can. Delicious stuff. Check it out. Charleston, South Carolina. If you like the video, you know what to do. Check the description below. We'll have the links up there for Facebook and Instagram where we do daily content. And, check it out here. I know it's been a little while since we put out a video, but we've been making big things happen. So there's going to be a lot more videos coming. We had to take a little break, get everything, all our ducks in a row, I guess you could call it, and get everything ready to start shooting again. So we got the kayaks. We're going to be doing a lot more river fishing, a lot more inlet fishing, a lot more videos coming that way. We still want to do beach days. We still want to do some surf fishing. We want to do a pier fishing video. I got to get permission from a couple of piers around the area to go ahead and fish certain piers. And we still need to do the first bass series for Aaron and Kaylee. So hang tight and, subscribe to see those videos because they're coming soon. We're going to be working on something every week. Again, try to drop a new video every Sunday at 7 p.m. I appreciate you guys watching. Thanks, guys. I'm going to sign out because I keep trailing off. Just trailing off. We'll see you guys next time. I appreciate you watching.